All right. Well, we should probably talk about some of this stuff. The Xbox, I have a lot of thoughts on the Xbox stuff going on right now. I think that the way the industry is of creators versus developers versus the business, right? I think as artists and as creative people, right, we don't want to accept the fact that this is a business, right? This is a business of that this is unfortunately something that we have to deal with. It's sort of like the movie industry in a way, but less so because obviously it's different. But you look at the creative side of games, and you have to take into consideration, if you work for a developer that's either owned or being funded by one of these larger publishers, you have to take in consideration all these things that, just as a creative person who doesn't work for one of these companies or isn't aiming to make $1 billion on a game, you don't take into consideration, right? Like microtransactions, marketing, character designs, character feedback, QA stuff, positioning your company to appease shareholders or investors or people like that. And it's tough. It really is. And then you look at it at Microsoft, right? And you look at Xbox and the way Asha Sharma is kind of resetting Xbox at this point, which, like I said, I still feel like if Xbox wasn't a Microsoft brand, Phil Spencer was doing the right thing. But at the same time, they were owned by Microsoft. And once you spend, $76 billion on Bethesda and, our ZeniMax and Activision Blizzard King, like Microsoft's going to notice. Yeah, even if they are a $1 trillion company, right? You just spent, almost, 1/12 of their worth on these companies. Maybe my math's wrong. I don't know. You spend a lot of money on these companies in the billions, right? And so it sucks. It's hard. It's really hard to look at, Microsoft or Xbox kind of getting rid of some of these studios that we all love, right? Double Fine, Tim Schafer, well-respected legend in this industry. Psychonauts 2 was one of my favorite games that year. That game was awesome. I love Psychonauts a lot. I mean, Ninja Theory being sold off, right? Like I love Hellblade. I know that's an unpopular opinion at this point, but I was really looking forward to Senua, and I hope they get to make that game. But the fact that they're not in the fold anymore, or, Compulsion, personally, a little less so. I don't really care about We Happy Few, and Contrast was an interesting, weird PS4 game that I got on PS Plus that was fun, but like, wow, Wonderflower's talking to me. What a weird surprise that was. Ugh. Thing scares me, man. There's no off button to that thing.